Hey everyone, it's John here from Hot Take Hockey to talk about a big trade. The Pittsburgh Penguins acquire Jason Zucker from the Minnesota Wild in exchange for a 2020 first round pick, Alex Galchenyuk, and defensive prospect Addison. You know what? I'm going to start just off with the positive things for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So the Penguins have this window to win cups. They're in a division spot. They have Crosby healthy right now. They have Malkin healthy right now. Yes, they don't have Jake Gensel, but they're hoping to get him at the very latest by the second round if they make it there in the playoffs. I think for this team right now, you're looking at Letang even getting older, and you're just looking at this window, and for Rutherford, you're looking to acquire. You're looking for guys to jump into that top six and have that presence, whether it's with Crosby or with Malkin. I could really see Jason Zucker fitting with a guy like Sidney Crosby, 100%. While Gensel's out, Zucker's definitely going to be in the top six, no doubt about it. Even with Gensel in the lineup, he's probably going to be in that top six. Imagine a top line of like Zucker, Crosby, Gensel. So 100%. I think this fits. For Zucker, you're talking about $5.5 million against the cap for 3 more years after this. So you have him locked up. And I've said this in trade rumor videos for how long? Like a year, couple of years. Rutherford loves to acquire guys with term. Gensel has been a guy that they've re-signed now. Obviously, Crosby's been under a good contract. Malkin's been under a good contract. They even signed a guy like Tanev to some term. You don't really see short-term deals with a team like the Pittsburgh Penguins, and when they do, they look to trade. That's why we've seen or heard trade rumors around a guy like Justin Schultz, even though the Penguins are a contending team. But for a guy like Jason Zucker, you have 3 years after this at a $5.5 million cap hit, which is very fair for the production you're going to get. And I think for a guy like Zucker, he's going to be a guy that you bring experience into the playoffs. The Minnesota Wild have been to many years of playoffs. Obviously, they haven't made far, but I think Zucker is going to bring that experience, and I honestly really like him as a player. He brings that two-way aspect. He can put up some goals. But I think the return was heavy here. And I think, you know what, Penguins fans, I think you should be happy with the addition here, but put aside the first-round pick, because the first-round pick is a first-round pick. In this deal, you were definitely giving up the first-round pick, and it kind of frustrates me when I see it on Twitter or see it from people thinking they weren't going to have to lose a first-round pick in this deal. You're talking about Jason Zucker, who was already a top-6 forward, and even if he was a rental, it probably would have been, you're talking about the Habs, the rumors around Kovalchuk, if they were going to flip him, would it be a second or third-round pick? Like, Jason Zucker has term at a good value for 3 more years after this, and not quite 30 yet. Like, this guy is under a good contract, is what I'm trying to say. And he's already a top 6 forward. Obviously, it was going to be at least a first-round pick. And Galchenyuk, you know what? I like this. Maybe he finds some success with the Minnesota Wild, has a little bit of a bounce back for the second half of the year, and re-signs with them, or at least gives himself that opportunity to earn a decent contract in the summer. But I think the kind of difference maker on this trade is Addison. Addison, he's put up over a point per game in the WHL with Lethbridge, and 9 points in 7 games in the World Juniors for Team Canada. This guy is very good. A second-round draft pick back in 2018. This is a defenseman I don't think the Penguins wanted to lose. The best defensive prospect they had, and I think this is a concern that they had to move on from him. But again, they're trying to take advantage of this window for Crosby, Malkin, Letang. So honestly, I don't like that they gave up Addison. I kind of talked about a Zucker trade. Would it be maybe a guy like Pierre-Olivier Joseph that they got in the trade that brought Galchenyuk also? So flipping the 2 guys that they got in the Kessel trade. And the other thing is, there was a trade that was on the table that would have sent Kessel to Minnesota and Zucker back the other way. And Kessel decided he didn't want that. He had the opportunity, and he made that decision that he was not going to waive his no trade clause or modify no trade clause to go to the Minnesota Wild. So I think it's disappointing because the Penguins had to pay a lot more on top of what they gave up for Kessel, and now looking at it, they didn't really get a whole lot back and had to give up these extra assets to get a guy like Zucker when that trade could have brought them back Zucker. I think it is disappointing to look at that bigger picture. But you know what? The Penguins can't look back on things like this. They're taking advantage of the window now. And you know what? Penguins fans, you might have this worry looking down the line in maybe 5 years, seeing teams like the LA Kings or the San Jose Sharks now that they're getting older and they kind of missed their window. But the Penguins have won cups, and I think this gives them an opportunity to possibly contend for another cup this year. And if they do make it to that second round, we know how much of a playoff performer Gensel can be. So I like this trade for both sides. I'm really impressed with the work of Bill Guerin on this trade for the Minnesota Wild. You're bringing in a first-round pick, a very legit defense prospect in Addison, and you know what? An opportunity for Alex Galchenyuk to prove he still has that opportunity to be a top 6 forward. So I really like the return. You're getting Jason Zucker 3 years after this, so with term, a proven top 6 forward. I like the trade for both sides. If I had to give a winner, right now, in terms of value, I would say Minnesota Wild, just in terms of that return. But then again, we'll see what happens, and we'll see the benefit that it brings the Pittsburgh Penguins going from now into the playoffs. So thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, smash that like button, comment your thoughts below in the comment section. This was John from Hot Take Hockey. Hope to see you on more videos. Peace out.